Have you been in the situation where you see that your ideal client comes right at you and you don't know what to say? For some reason, words don't come out and you freeze. For some reason, you know you have the offer, but the words really don't come out. That's why it's great to have a clear elevator pitch. Not only to give exact what you want to say, you have it always ready, but also to go right to the call to action, because that's what we always forget. So in this video, we will learn how to create the perfect elevator pitch in just 30 seconds. What is an elevator pitch? It's just simply imagine the situation. You go into this elevator with your ideal client, meaning a person who knows that wants your service, who values your service because needs it or wants it and can afford it, means has a willingness to pay. That makes it this person your ideal client. And imagine that this person comes exactly to this elevator with you. You have 30 seconds to pitch your product, your brand, your service, but more importantly, you have only very short time to tell all of that, your transformative promise, and to get them into action. That is the most important thing of your elevator pitch. Not only about saying words without any random purpose, is to have a meaningful conversation, a meaningful point that gets this person into believing that you are the right person that solves the problem or need that this person has and goes exactly into the action that we want. So it's very important that we think that an elevator pitch is not to sell an entire offer, it's to get one single action. It's an important point. Sometimes we are too quick what we want to say. Sometimes we go and say very quickly everything without getting into a single point. So the most important thing is to have a structure in your head, prepared, practiced as many times as you can. So you always imagine that you can meet your ideal client everywhere, in the bank, in an actual elevator, on the street, in a supermarket. So you train your brain to always pitching your idea and to get a possible client that comes right after you into the action that you want. That is an elevator pitch. Now, how do you structure? We will use a super simple formula that we learn in the basic steps of learning marketing. Very classic model. The AIDA framework. AIDA, as we all know, stands for very simple words: attention, interest, desired, and action. This is something that we marketeers use for everything. You can use it for a flyer, for a video, and of course for your elevator pitch. So it's very important to have these 4 elements in your pitch, because that always trains your brain that you need to go into attention, get into a desire. You have to target the problem of someone, but also you need to solve that into an interesting offer. Sometimes we speak too much about the problem without getting into the point. And to close, always with a call to action. How do you practice this? First and most importantly, train. Don't expect that you really have to have an ideal client in front of you to actually pitch your idea. Simply imagine that you enter an elevator. Just close your eyes, take a breath. Do this exercise with me if you want right now. Close your eyes, take a breath. Imagine an elevator. Imagine that you, for some reason, will know that your ideal client will come in the next 5 seconds, and you have the power to tell this person that you have the best product or service that he or she needs. How this elevator look like? Is it a classic elevator? Is it a corporate elevator? Is it an elevator of a normal building, in a house, for example, in a residential building? Is it a countryside elevator, or perhaps an elevator in the middle of the city because this person lives in the center of a city? I don't know. Give your elevator the setting where you will really find your ideal client. In this way, you will start training your senses into perceiving when an actual ideal client comes to you. And by conditioning that those are the elements that you are training your brain with. That's very important. The mindfulness of the experience, the mindfulness of seeing what kind of audience you will have. This first mindfulness exercise will help you not only for actually imagining an elevator pitch, but actually for pitching your idea with a bigger audience, because you can train yourself when you speak to 100, 300, 1,000 people. Actually, it doesn't matter. You train your brain by conditioning what kind of elevator you're entering at. That's really important. Mindfulness. The second aspect is time yourself. Timing is critical because sometimes you only have those, not even 30 seconds, sometimes 10. But if you have your pitch structured and ready, it doesn't matter how short the time you have. You get the attention and people will listen to the end. So it's very important that if you want right now, after this video, set your timer to 30 seconds and practice the structure. So you will always imagine that have very, very, very brief time to tell your story brand. Now, how do you put this into action? Remember, first, be mindful. Why? You need to have clear who is the person that you are talking to. Be direct, be specific, and focus on one single human being, your ideal client. We also need to create drama. We need to spark emotions. We need to spark even something funny, something dramatic, something scary, or something that can make people angry. We don't know. But if you want to trigger, or if you can trigger an emotion, that will set up the perfect dramatic scene for your pitch. And the most important thing is to follow this framework of AIDA. Remember, first, after you have your mindfulness exercise, you know who are you talking to. You create drama by attention, the first one. Then, interest. Be specific. We need this person to feel identified with the problem you want to solve. So the interest is about the problem. Be specific, exactly the problem that you need to solve, so the person feels identified. Third, desire. Your offer. What is the solution to this problem? But remember, in only one sentence, explain specifically what is the problem, what is the solution that you are trying to solve with your service or your product. Finally, action. What is the call to action that you want this person to have? Be very specific and be realistic. What is what this person can actually do in this very little time? This person doesn't have too much time to actually think if he or she will be willing to buy your offer straight away. Perhaps an appointment, perhaps a sign up, perhaps contact detail to follow up for an appointment. I don't know. You'll figure out. And I will help you. Now, if you're here until the end of the video, I thank you very much for watching. That's very nice. And I also want to invite you for a pitch training live with me. This is something that we do very often in our group coachings, and it's super fun and has a very, very positive impact on your pitch training, on your storytelling, on your clarity, on everything. I really recommend you to do this. We will do a live pitch training. You can find the details in the link below. I look forward to seeing you there. I will, of course, provide you with feedback on how you can improve your pitch, or which elements you can add, which elements perhaps you should edit, and I'm sure you won't regret it. It's fun, it's very rewarding, and you will learn super quick. I promise you. Looking forward to seeing you there. And remember, keep being inspired.